everybody. Welcome to the Water Online Show on location. I am your host, Angela Godwin. We are coming to you from WEF Tech 25 here in Chicago, and my guest today is Kevin Barnes. He is the National Sales Manager with FCS. Kevin, thank you so much for joining me today.
Oh, you're welcome. Thank you.
Yeah, I was looking forward to catching up with you and talking a little bit about FCS. For our viewers, maybe who aren't familiar, give us a little bit of background on the company.
Yeah, so FCS is a company around like non-revenue water. Basically built like back in the 1970s. We started with acoustic leak detection. Slowly from there, we evolved like doing things like with pressure management, pressure monitoring, modulation, and then more recently added in level monitoring. So pressure is the key focus that I'm here to talk about today, though.
Excellent. Well, we will dive more into that. And I understand that remote monitoring is something that is new and exciting.
Absolutely. So water agencies around the country, they think that they have like a good handle like on monitoring like pressure, but having remote capabilities like things like where you can have loggers deployed anywhere in the system that you don't have power, things you can actually deploy very quick, easily, and then have that monitoring ability basically at your fingertips.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
So how does that work? So when you have a remote monitor, do you have to go back into the site at all to do any adjustments or anything like that?
Yeah, so the loggers are actually connected through like either an internal pressure or an external pressure. Once they're deployed and set up in the field, they're a two-way device. So what that means is that there is no second visit. So they can actually call into the device. They can change the sample rate, the log rate, what the alarm features are. If they want to know what's the max pressure, what's the minimum pressure, am I getting my average like pressures? All of that is information that they can have, brought to their fingertips, like, through a hosted site.
That's really great.
Yeah.
That probably really cuts down on operators that, having to go out into the
efficiency.
fields. And yeah, for sure. So let's talk more about the alerts. And you mentioned that, things are two-way, but how what's that like for the end user? Are they getting it on their phone? Are they getting it through a computer? How does that work?
Yeah. So once the loggers are installed and they start recording, the alert messages basically once they set the parameters, like as far as, hey, I want to get a certain level of a PSI if it drops below a certain minimum or a maximum, kind of on both sides, they can get an SMS message, so a text message, or an email, and even better yet is maybe a combination of both. So the reason is that some operators may need to get a text message to know to respond right away, but maybe the manager who's overseeing the system just wants to get a daily email, so he knows, I'll just like check into the system. So it's kind of a choose your option.
Excellent. So it keeps those informed who want to be, who need to be.
Correct.
At whatever level they need to be.
Yeah.
That's cool. So let's talk a little bit about ROI. So where is that return on investment for units like these?
That's the amazing part when you get into pressure modulation. So where you're actually controlling pressure at a PRV station, we've determined that the ROI, the return on that investment, is within 6 days.
Whoa.
So you put that capital investment, literally less than a week later, you've already recouped the upfront cost. When you get into the pressure monitoring, we're seeing that return like in just a little less than a year. So it makes a significant difference monitoring that pressure.
That's incredible. I mean, such a quick, return.
Absolutely.
Especially where, utilities are watching every penny. We have to be very judicious where we spend our money.
For
right?
sure.
So,
yep.
So let's talk a little bit about that data. So can it only be accessed on like a certain website or portal, or is there a way to port that elsewhere?
Yeah, so all of our information comes to a hosted site. We call it Datagate. They can actually see it. So it's a web browser application. So whether they're on their phone, they're using their laptop, they're sitting at home at their office, right? They can basically, if you have a web browser, you have access to it. But some agencies like have a unified platform. So they have a kind of a centralized like database that they want everything to come into. We can actually do things through an API, actually bring all that information like in. So there will always be the backbone of Datagate because that's where you're going to send your commands. But if they want it in one platform, it can be pushed through an API.
That's great. That's great. People are always trying to access from many different, angles, right?
Consolidate.
So, yeah, for sure. Kevin, thank you so much. Now, if our viewers want to learn a little bit more, is there a website that you would send them to?
Yes, fluidconservation.com is the website, and feel free to check us out.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Fluidconservation.com. Check it out, guys. All right, Kevin, thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate it and wish you all the best of luck going forward.
All right. Thank you very much.
And thanks to all of you for tuning in to the Water Online Show on location. My name is Angela Godwin.